I had professors that would tell me that I should change careers. I even had some colleagues at one point as well, maybe this isn't the career for you. But for me, it's always been proving people wrong. And definitely that definitely motivated me to pursue, to prove that I what I learned, I know it and I have my fundamentals. So just being able to actually pass this exam and let, previous colleagues of mine know that, I've already passed it, other uh, classmates of mine and even professors, um, it definitely shows them that, I anybody can do it as long as you put the effort and you study. Anybody can get licensed. So my recommendation would be, if engineering is what you want to do, go for it. But
Really.
make sure that you put the time to something, and one thing that my father would always tell me is, when you start something, finish it. Don't leave it halfway.
Exactly.
So I know for some of us, life plays a role, and it's not perfect, and we all have our own obstacles and our own life events. But as long as you get to the finish line, some people it's right away, and some people it takes longer, and we all come from different places, so we all don't have the same luxury as others do. And
Yeah.
definitely that was a big motivation.
Hi, Jose.
Hi, Wasim.
How's it going?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good, good. So, Jose, congratulations on passing your FE electrical and computer exam in the second attempt. Your story is very interesting, and that's why I was actually waiting for you to get done with your FE exam. And I think you were equally excited to get onto this interview. You did mention once or twice over the course of our conversation. So it's really good to have you here sharing your experience. And how about you give me a little bit of background of when you got started? Actually, let's backtrack even further. When you graduated, and then when did you decide to really get serious about your FE exam preparation? And eventually when you got started.
I graduated in May of 2016 with my bachelor's in electrical engineering with an emphasis in power.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as I graduated, I was aware that becoming a PE is important in the power industry. So even though when I graduated from school, I started as a operations distribution engineer for a utility company, and my manager was the one that initially said, "Hey, it'll be an important goal to accomplish to become a licensed engineer."
So that was around 2016 timeline.
Yes, 2016. Yeah.
Okay. So when did you really get started with your FE exam preparation?
I started studying in 2017. I had purchased a different resource.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, it wasn't your resource. And so I started studying that review book. It's the yellow green book. And then I started practicing the problems. Um, and that's when I officially started studying for my FE.
Okay. And I was looking at our email conversations and going through the history. You actually enrolled in my on-demand course in December of 2019, right? So let's go from that point onwards. So obviously in 2017 you started dabbling into it, but you really couldn't get things going, and you didn't even attempt the exam. So in 2019 you came across my course, right?
Yeah, I realized that for me, that reference resource that I was using I didn't feel prepared at that time. And when I ran into your resource on demand course, that's when I was like, you know what, I'll pay for it and start going through the on-demand course. At that time, I believe you weren't offering the live course,
No,
but
there
at
was no
least you were
live training at
doing,
that point in time. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. And I believe I would email you with questions, anything that I had questions, and I bought your study guide, first edition at that time, and so started going through the problems, going to the on-demand course, and just getting that email response from you. I started feeling more confident in regards to topics that I wasn't strong. My strengths were not there in certain topics, so
Yeah.
that really helped.
So when you got started with your FE electrical exam preparation using my resources, COVID happened, right? So that put a dent in your preparation, and then you were mentioning along the way you also had a new family member join you guys, right?
Yeah, in 2019, yeah, there was a lot of life uh, obstacles that, well, one life
Life
obstacle,
events.
but life events as well.
Yeah.
Um, I started, I was having health issues in 2019, 2020, and then so that time that took a stop on my studying
Hmm.
and that affected my studying. And then we had a newborn, our first newborn, and so uh, being the first time parents, that kind of took more importance than studying in my perspective. So just being able to spend time with our new family member, and then as well, COVID happened. So I did have my exam already scheduled, and you know, everything was just getting canceled. So
Yeah.
that affected as well the first, when I first was going to attempt the exam.
Right. So in 2020, did you still study though? A tiny bit?
A tiny bit I studied,
Okay.
not actively as I was trying to. Uh,
And you pointed out, you commented earlier on that while you were going through the exam preparation using the on-demand course, you could notice that the quality and the content and the coverage of the course was continuously increasing month by month. So in 2020, late 2020, early 2021, I think you decided that now it's time for you to really start keeping up to speed and really start diving. So when did you sort of restart your exam preparation? Your story is also important, interesting, because it's a start and stop story. Not everybody has that fairy tale type of 4 to 6 weeks of exam preparation for FE electrical and getting it done in the first attempt, right? So a fair percentage of students also have to sort of deal with other aspects of life, and then that sort of holds them back from really diving into it. I mean, if they had everything else cleared up in their schedule, I'm pretty sure that they would also love to get it done, seamlessly, smoothly in the first attempt. So in 2020, with these life events happening and COVID happening, uh, when did you restart your exam prep?
I restarted in the fall of 2020,
Hmm.
studying, and I remember that you and I had like a one-on-one, just quick video chat.
Hmm.
Kind of, you went, "Hey, this is how much it should take you. y- y- uh, keep emailing me. I'll get to your questions." And uh, that's when I started in the fall of 2020. I definitely started taking time. I was studying probably 2 hours a day, and then I increased it
Yeah.
with time to even probably up to 3 to 4 hours a day after
Right.
work. And then at the same time, I just recall as well, 2019, I moved jobs. So I transferred over from a operations distribution engineer to a telecom engineer. And
Right.
so another life event that happened that also affected, because I needed to get used to the new changes, get up to
Right.
speed with my new position. and
Yeah.
and so fall 2020, I started studying more seriously, had more time to do it. And I did my first attempt in uh spring of 2021.
Right.
um
And that was yeah. So let's talk about that attempt. So you had gone through my on-demand course, I believe, at least once. Um, you did attempt my practice exam, although your score on the practice exam was a little bit on the lower side, right? And then how was that attempt? How did it
Uh,
impact you?
that attempt, even though um, I didn't pass the first time, um, and I would say it really comes down to ensuring that you cover all the topics,
Right.
something that you preach to cover everything, don't leave no
Yeah.
stone turned.
Yeah.
Um, it was a lesson learned,
Hmm.
and at the same time, it gave me motivation because it's not the first time that I failed at something, and just because you fail doesn't mean that you can't do it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've always had to persevere with my
Yeah.
career and my and life in general.
Yeah.
So I looked at the lessons learned from that exam attempt
Hmm.
and went back and started working on that and dedicating time for it.
Yeah.
I had another life event between my first attempt and my second attempt again.
Yeah.
And so that kind of delayed studying as well again.
Yeah.
Um, but because of where I work at, I was able to get some paternity leave and
Right.
uh, time off. I took advantage of that time and studied, dedicated studying at least 4 hours a day, and
For
and
your
then
second attempt. For
for
the
my
second
second
attempt.
attempt,
Second and
uh,
successful attempt. Yeah.
yes, from the first attempt to the second attempt, it was more than a year
Right.
due to other life events happening during that time, and
Right.
then finally
Yeah.
was able to pass it.
So your story, Jose, is really a story of perseverance and, self-belief and, putting in the time and effort, early mornings, late nights, spending 3 hours of study time, consistently over long term, and staying committed to the goal. Because uh, a lot of students, first of all, there are many students out there, or many electrical engineers out there who are sort of in a comfortable position within their career, but at the back of their mind they know that this FE exam and the P exam and the P license, the ID certificate, it's holding them back from advancing in their career. But since they're so cozy, so comfy, they are not willing to take that leap, put themselves to the this arduous journey, right? Which takes some for some students it takes a couple of months. For some students, I mean, it can take a couple of years, right? For example, in your case. But credit goes to you that you didn't give up, and and when you started preparing for your second attempt, if you remember, I mentioned to you a couple of times, especially at the tail end of your preparation, that Jose, students with less preparation than you have actually gone ahead and passed this exam. So at some point, you'll have to pull the trigger. Was it the exam anxiety, or was it the fear of failure that was holding you back from taking the exam sooner? Because I still believe that although it took you 1 year to prepare for your second attempt, I think you were ready probably within the next, probably at least 2 to 3 months ago. So what was going through your mind when you were registering for preparing for the second attempt? Or you just wanted to be
Yeah,
over prepared?
uh, for the second attempt, I mean, we were still in the COVID pandemic, so that kind of took a toll on when I had registered for the second attempt.
Okay.
I know that had gotten rescheduled and and then as well, the second attempt wasn't the first attempt was more anxiety, test anxiety. The
Mm-hmm.
second attempt, I was, I had signed up the first time and said this is the date, um, and I'm just gonna go take it, and
Yeah.
whatever the result is the result.
Yeah.
That second attempt was, I felt more confident.
Yeah.
And when I was in the exam, I was like, okay, I'm gonna answer whatever question I feel I can answer right away. And whatever question I don't, I will just
Yeah.
take a quick, educated guess and flag it and move on.
Yeah.
Um, when I finish, when I finished the second, when I took the exam, the second attempt, I finished the whole exam with 4 minutes to left, 4 minutes
That's
left.
not bad. That's actually kind of impressive. Students don't have a lot of luxury of time during the FE exam.
Yeah, so I felt confident the second time, and especially when you started your live course, I
Mhm.
believe towards the end of 2021 or beginning of 2022, I think you
Yeah, so
started your
let's talk
live
about
course.
that. You participated in the May to July live training, correct?
Yes,
Yeah, you just started as yeah, May to July 2020 live training. So how did that help you, Jose?
definitely the structure. The structure definitely helped. Just every week, meeting twice a week and having the homework and going through the on-demand course. I already had reviewed the on-demand course videos probably twice by that time. So
Yeah,
it was more of just homework and focusing on topics that I was just having issues with, and practicing problems and asking questions that I just needed some help there,
yeah.
understanding, clarifying, and just being able to ask those questions in your live course, or being able to get email those questions, and then you review those questions over in the live course. That helped tremendously, because like you say, you're able to get that answer right on the spot, and go
And
through the
and
details.
and I believe that you were also able to see that you were not alone in that boat, right? Other students were struggling with similar things. And you probably also got a sense that, some students are probably starting at even a lower level than where you are, right? Obviously, some students would be stronger in some areas and whatnot, but that group-based learning experience, how did that help your anxiety or, promote your learning?
Yeah, like you said, it I noticed from that class that there were other students in the same, similar boat, that were struggling in possibly same areas or different areas, and that were different from myself. And uh, it definitely helped to see that I'm not the only one going through this. So
Going through
uh,
this pain, right?
yeah,
It's not an
so
easy
it
journey,
more motivation for me,
for
and
sure.
it definitely helped on the exam day.
Yeah,
So
I know you have, without me even asking, you have recommended the on-demand course, the study guide, and the live training, my exam prep resources to your friends and your colleagues. Why would you advise somebody to, especially who is just getting started with exam preparation, to consider these resources?
yeah, I like flexibility quite a bit. Even at work, I now have the opportunity to work from home permanently, and
Nice, good for you.
you know be able to do my job and spend time with my family as well. And your course provides flexibility. You know, a student may have life events throughout life, then that's life. So they're able to just progress at their own pace, and get review those videos over and over, and be able to email you and get responses from you within 24 hours. Uh, so it kind of feels like like being back in
24 to
school.
48 hours. Okay, I want to set
20
the expectations right. 24 to 48 hours. I do try to respond within 24 hours, but within 48 hours, most 9 out of 10 times you'll get a response. And as I was saying, I don't leave any email query from my students unanswered at the expense of sometimes even, like I don't do any heavy marketing. I don't, participate on online forums and respond to random questions from random students, hoping that they will recognize that, okay, Wasim has some resources for FE electrical or PE power. My focus is my students, right? And in fact, along the way, you did mention, hey, Wasim, why don't I see you here, or why don't I see you there? There are others who are sort of promoting their brand here or there, but yeah. So I focus on my students, and every single emails that students send me, I make it a priority to address that.
And I can tell, because when I first signed up uh, in 2019, uh, you didn't have at that time additional problems. You didn't have a live course. You were still on your first edition. I believe you came out with the second edition for your FE
Mhm.
practice problems book. You came out with additional updated videos, uh, making it more practice for the students. And then you came up with practice exams, 2 practice exams. So I know I've seen the progression that you've made with your course. And to me, that just, it was more motivation because I felt that you cared for your students. Therefore, why can I not accomplish my goal as well? Since you're providing the resources that we need to pass this exam.
Yeah.
So it was tremendously helpful program for me.
Thanks for that feedback, Jose. And my last question, I've been asking this question lately in pretty much every interview, is what sacrifices, and I know you made a lot of sacrifices, what sacrifices, let's quantify it in 3, right? What are the 3 main sacrifices that during the course of this preparation that you had to make in order to get to where you got to and achieve what you ended up achieving? Because this is not an easy journey. Anybody who is thinking that they'd be able to, sleepwalk through it, uh, that's not reality, right? So the reality or the fact is that you will have to make sacrifices.
Yeah, the sacrifices in my case were just time with friends and time, spending time with family, spending time sometimes even with my spouse, and my spouse, definitely a lot of credit for her. She's been very supportive and been able, currently now with 2 young ones, she's been helping a lot with letting me study certain times of the day. So we work together and come up, hey, this is the time that the block that I want to study. This is more convenient. And she's been very supportive, and she understands the goal that I want to accomplish, and she's been very supportive, and I appreciate her a lot for that. And I mean, my
That's
family
important.
as well. My family as
That's very
well.
important.
My parents, they've always motivated me to get that PE, even though they're not engineers.
Yeah.
So they've always motivated me to get the license, and it's, to me, it's, it's just pushed me to continue pushing forward.
That's
So
impressive.
if
And you also have engineers in your family, though, one of your siblings, right? Who is also working towards your PE, and you have a leg up now that you have gotten the FE out of the way, right?
yeah, yeah, a sibling that's a civil engineer, so we were just competing who's gonna get
Yeah.
it first.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Good for you. So again, thanks a lot for your time, Jose. And you're already enrolled in my PE Power course. Very briefly, how's that going for you so far? And how different is PE? Initial impressions. I'm
I
not
mean,
putting words in your mouth, okay?
I'm definitely enjoying the study, and a lot more than the FE. 17 topics to cover is it
Yeah.
just, there was a lot of topics I just didn't care for.
Yeah.
But the PE power, definitely more enjoyable. It's in line with my previous experience and a part of my current experience at work. So it just basically, I'll continue doing what I was doing for the FE, and hopefully take this exam by January or sooner, and not wait another couple years.
Yeah. And since you got the exposure or you had the hands-on experience with the FE On Demand plus live training program, so this was a no-brainer for you to basically enroll in my PE Power On Demand plus live training program,
Yeah,
right?
of course. Yep. Yeah, it was as soon as you came out, as soon as you let me know that you had the PE course, I was like signing up right away. I
Yeah.
just
Sounds good. Well, looking forward to helping you get done with the PE Power. And on my end as well, I actually enjoy teaching and creating content for PE Power a little bit more than FE Electrical for exactly the same reasons that you pointed out, that it is more grounded in reality, more relevant to power systems engineering, things that my students are doing on day-to-day basis, cable sizing calculations, motor sizing, transformer, working with overcurrent protection and codes and requirements. So all of that stuff. Whereas with FE electrical, unfortunately, it's a bridge that you have to cross. You have to study software, computer networks, signal processing, communication, electromagnetics. Maybe none of these things will ever show up for you again in your career, right? But one of the things that you have to sort of get done with. And yeah, with that, I would like to congratulate you once more on this wonderful achievement. It was not an easy road, obviously, right? And but the hard work always pays off, and your self-belief, your self-confidence, and there were ups and downs where sometimes even I had to sort of tell you that, Jose, you know what, just get it done, just jump into it, and have confidence. And kudos to you for executing the plan and making it happen.
Thank you, Wasim.
Yeah, thank you.